Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Eric Brothers YouTube. I say again, welcome to my YouTube channel, Eric Brothers YouTube, and also welcome to my Rumble channel, Snacks123 on Rumble and Eric Brothers YouTube. And what is the topic for the day? Obviously, you know it's military content. And today I want to talk about the military control roster. And I'm going to say it again, the military control roster. And why am I bringing up this particular topic? For those that are of you that are already in the armed forces are serving, you guys know what this is. And a military control roster is nothing that you want to be on. And so this right here is for those obviously that are still in, but for those that are considering a career in the military or just enlisting in the armed forces, however long you plan on going into it. But you do not want to be on a military control roster. All right, let's go with it. All right, a military control roster is it's basically a 6-month observational period. Commanders use it to monitor service members whose duty performance or conduct in the military is substandard. And it requires, they say, special attention, evaluation, and rehabilitation. Basically, a control roster is the commander's naughty boy list. And they call it, I guess you can say, a tool of discipline. But it's for those members in the military, who may, have done certain things that are unbecoming of military members, and their duty performance or their military conduct is not up to par. Now, let me explain something. With the armed forces, when you are serving in the military, you are not technically, it's not a 9 to 5 job. When you are serving in the military and you're enlisted, or whether you're an officer, but when you're in the armed forces, basically you are on duty 24/7. So that means 24 hours a day. You are on duty, even when you're resting and sleeping. So the military expects you to adhere to their rules and to their disciplines and to military standards 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And so when you fail to do that, a control roster, it is, a tool that they can use. Now this right here, and I'm gonna have to probably break this up and make a separate series on the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, for those of you on the outside that may not know or understand what it is. Okay, but anyway, a control roster is one tool that a commander can use before he gives you or issues you in Article 15, which that Article 15, I mean, that's considered non-judicial punishment. But let me just stick to the control roster, and eventually, like I said, the Article 15, I'll make another video for that, so you can understand what the code of conduct is in the military, and the different types of law that they have to govern military members. And that is the purpose of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, because military members are not always serving and working on United States soil. So they had to come up with a separate code and rule of law, for military members in addition to the Constitution of the United States. So that way, regardless of where the military member is stationed, if they're over in, say, maybe Timbuktu, if they're in Russia, anywhere, they have a rule of law that governs military members when they're not operating on United States soil. And obviously, all military members are subject to the United States Constitution. Anyway, let's move along. All right. So for evaluation and to rehabilitate, to potentially turn a member around. Okay. The purpose is to allow service members an opportunity to improve and meet standards before more severe administrative, judicial, or non-judicial actions are taken. Now, remember, I said an Article 15 is considered non-judicial punishment, whereas when you talk about judicial punishment, you're talking about now going before a military tribunal or a court where if you lose the case, you can be court-martialed. You see what I'm saying? Whereas in Article 15, it's punishment, but it's non-judicial punishments, meaning that if you get an Article 15, you won't have to go up, before a military judge or tribunal. It's basically like going before a court of law, like in the American court system. The only difference is in the military. And so you have a panel, of members and, whatever, jury, blah, 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 similar to the American court system, except it's military. And that military member, they have a lawyer, representation, same thing, But if they lose that case under judicial punishment, then they get court-martialed. And judicial punishment is much more severe than non-judicial punishment, even though both, will have a detrimental effect on the career, but non-judicial punishment, so say something like an Article 15, a military member can recover from that within a certain period of time. They can recover if they have enough time left in their enlistment. And eventually after so many years, whatever like that, however the Article 15 is stated to last, it can fall off the military member's record and they can continue on with their career and move on with life. But I'll deal with that in another video to break that down. But the military, when it comes to discipline and conduct and obeying standards, the military, man, is like the Wu-Tang Clan. The military ain't nothing to mess with. I ain't gonna use the cuss words of the Wu-Tang, baby. But that's how the military gets down, man. You don't want to mess with Uncle Sam when you're in uniform. Because if it can be got, Uncle Sam gonna get you. So you don't want to mess up in the military because they have too much control over you. It's not like on the civilian side where a job you can quit. In the military, once they got you, that booty is theirs. You best believe. When you swear in and say I do, under that flag, you best believe you belong to them, until your enlistment is up. And until that enlistment or term of service is up, they don't have to let you out. So, for those of you that are in, y'all know the deal. Obey the rules, maintain your discipline, and uphold your end of the bargain. And for those that are thinking about coming in, you need to know this. So, just exactly what the penalties and consequences are when you fail, to adhere to the military standards and conduct and discipline. All right, moving along. Okay, placement on a control roster, often it prevents promotions, re-enlistment, and permanent change of duty station. Okay, and let's see, it is documented, and what they do, they will basically create an unfavorable information file. So, but you get the gist. When they say unfavorable, that is exactly what they mean. Unfavorable information file. So that will go in your file, along with that control roster. And that control roster stays on your record, until you meet, the particular standards. And then after a 6-month period, the commander can take you off. But if you don't, then more severe punishment, is coming. The military does not play. I'm telling you right now, they don't play. So it's like the nonsense and the foolishness that you get away with on the outside, you can't do that in Uncle Sam's military. For those military members that do it, you know what I'm saying, they may be doing it on the side or sneakily, or they may be acting up for a minute, but you can best believe in the military, they clamp down on that. They shut you down with the quickness. And if you cannot, you know what I'm saying, obey the rules and do what you were supposed to do, then what they can do, they can either court-martial you, they can lock you up, you know what I'm saying, put you in jail, and then they can discharge you, or they can flat out, you know what I'm saying, get the paperwork drawn up, and basically they can put you out. You know what I'm saying? They got too much control. And before they even put you out, I mean, they can do all types of punishments to you. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like being punished and having your money taken, you know what I'm saying, the military is not the place where you want to mess around with, because what you do in there, if you get a bad conduct discharge, or if you get a bad record, you know what I'm saying, in Uncle Sam's military, that is federal, and that is going to follow you, you know, for the rest of your life. And on the civilian side, most employers, they don't want, you know what I'm saying, they don't want veterans that have anything less than an honorable. A general discharge, you know what I'm saying, you might, you know what I'm saying, be so-so, and after 6 months, you can get a general discharge upgraded to honorable. But if you're going to go, those of you that are in the military and those of you that plan on going into the military, if you're going to do this thing, you better do it right, you know what I'm saying? And plan on getting out with no less than an honorable discharge. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to fool with Uncle Sam or try to give Uncle Sam a hard time, because he will make you pay. And that's the federal government. And that record, that DD 214, which is your discharge papers, that stays on your record for the rest of your life. And if employers want to find out if you ever served, they can find out, you know what I'm saying? So don't think you're going to lie. If they ever ask you, have you ever served in the armed forces? If you think you're going to lie, you think they can't find out, you know what I'm saying? You got another thing coming. You know what I'm saying? So Uncle Sam's military is not the place where you want to play games. Quickly, guys, let me interject. If you desire to lose weight, take care of your health, you know, cut body fat, you know what I'm saying, and lean out. I have a website, you know, where I'm selling the 5 best weight loss products, you know, so check out, you know what I'm saying, my website, you know what I'm saying, purchase the products, and also share the website with other individuals. And next to God, the next best thing that you have is your health. So please take care of it, because you only get one body and we got one life to live. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, so the control roster. Now, I know about this from experience, you know. I shared in a video when I talked about fraternity fraud in the military. And how I wound up getting on, let me see, I wound up on a control roster, what was it? And I didn't even know, when I came out of tech school, and I was kind of cutting a fool when I had left basic training. I was running wild, you know what I'm saying, in tech school. But I had at the time a commander that he was itching to get me and he was trying to get me out, you know what I'm saying, before I could make it to my next duty station. And he happened to be on leave, and I happened to get myself in you know, some trouble. I think I broke like maybe curfew or something like that, you know. And with the military, they put young military members in phases. When you're going through AIT, any type of technical training school, it doesn't matter what branch of services, they all have it. And whether it's Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, when you go to your technical training centers, when you're coming out of basic training, they know that men and women, they've been locked down so long. So when you get out of basic and you go on to your technical training center, you know, for school to learn your career field, they know that they can't release you, you know what I'm saying, straight into freedom like that, because you're going to be like an animal coming out the wild because you've been locked down so long, you know what I'm saying? And these are a bunch of young men and women. So what they do, they put you in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, phase 3 is where you have complete freedom like any other individual after you finish. Like, it's like going to college. You do your schoolwork, do your physical fitness training, whatever like that. And then after that, the rest of the day is yours. You can go where you want to go, so long as you are show up, in time for military duty. You know what I'm saying? The next day, you know. Well, me, me and a couple other guys, man. I lost my phase 2 and phase 3 in phase 1. You know what I'm saying? Because we was running hard. Wow. You know what I'm saying? We was out partying. I mean, just doing all types of stuff. And fortunately for me, I thank God for it. I wouldn't have made it in the military. But my actual commander happened to be on vacation or leave at the time, and he just had it in for me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I really didn't think I did anything that bad. But it's just that he wanted to stick me. And so let me tell you what happened to me. So the temporary commander that I had, he knew I broke it, and me and other guys, we got caught. So what he did, I went under restriction, you know what I'm saying? And I just basically got counseled, and that was it. He left it at that, you know what I'm saying? But what happened when my actual regular commander came back off vacation, he couldn't let it be. You know what I'm saying? So what he had to do, he decided to, flex on me. And so what he did, he had canceled a prestigious assignment I had at my next duties. I had a prestigious assignment, you know what I'm saying? And he stripped me of that. He canceled it. And then on top of that, he put me on a control roster. I mean, it was unwarranted, you know what I'm saying? But he had slapped me on it, And so when I got to my first duty station, when I told you that if you guys had followed my video on the military paternity for it, when my son's mother, had called my commander, my first sergeant on me, and saying I wasn't paying enough for child support, I couldn't put my stripe on time because I was on a control roster, and I had a UIF, an unfavorable information file, based on what this commander had stuck on me, when I was at my technical training center. This happened before I got to my first duty station. So this is what I'm telling you guys. I know what I'm talking about from experience. And so what happened, fortunately for me, like I said, in terms of the child support stuff, I had all my receipts. So all I had to do was just get my son enrolled in DEERS and, draw the money and get the quarter of the child support payment set up. And so that's why I started. But my commander had to remove me from my new commander, removed me from the control roster, and he destroyed the unfavorable information file so that way I can pin on my stripe, with the rest, of others that had gotten promoted. But I told you, the military keep records, man. And this stuff, follows you. Now, remember, for me, that happened within like my first maybe 8 or 9 months, maybe 10 months within the military. So I was still very young, in my career. But even if you're still new, you don't want to get in any trouble because your first, if you really want to be honest, your first 2 to 3 years in the military, they still are monitoring you and checking you out to see, if you can cut it, and they still going through the weed out process to decide whether or not if you're worth keeping. So you don't want to get in any trouble, guys. I'm telling you, But in my case, I was fortunate, My new commander had looked out for me when he found out, man, you put him on a control roster for phase 1. Come on, man. So he's like, that's garbage. So he took me off it and destroyed it. So I was good, but that's not necessarily going to happen, to everybody. So, and I will say it again, for those of you that are in the military, y'all know the deal. Keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean and finish your enlistment. For officers, that goes double for you guys, because for an officer, you guys are held to a higher standard. Anybody that's going in with education and intends to be an officer in the military, the standards for you in the military will be higher. You will be held to a higher standard. If an officer gets so much as a letter of reprimand, that for them, that's severe damage to their career. That's severe damage for them. Enlisted you know what I'm saying, letter reprimand, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to get it, you know what I'm saying, but it's not as severe as it is for an officer. But anyway, let me just continue on. All right. So now, what commanders do? They monitor, observe, and evaluate, members that require, special attention regarding their conduct, bearing, and integrity. Okay. Preventative action. Okay. The control roster, it serves as a tool preventing service members from being let me see, what is this? From being placed on a control roster for something that may want, and that's exactly what I was saying. The preventative action that commanders can use. Let me see. If there are other, tools that a commander can use to keep members from being on a control roster, it is recommended that they do so, as this control rosters adversely, affect or hinder a military member's career. All right. Let me move on, guys. All right. Let's see. Observation period. Normally is 6 months. Let's see. Eligibility. It applies to individuals whose duty performance, let me say it again, whose duty performance is below standards and who fail to meet conduct, bearing, and integrity standards both on and off duty. Remember I said you on duty in the military 24/7. And in the military, it pays to play by the rules, guys. You know what I'm saying? If you plan on going in the military, please, guys, play by the rules. You will save yourself so much headaches. They have way too much control, over you and your life, and they got the drop on you. So you don't want to mess around. If you're going to go into the military, play by the rules and do it right. Let's see, associated consequences. All right, service members on a control roster generally can't be promoted. They cannot re-enlist or be assigned to a new duty station. So basically, you stuck. You know what I'm saying? They're not letting you move. You know what I'm saying, with that on your record. So if you was thinking about traveling and going to have some adventures, that is canceled. You can forget about it. Promotion, canceled. And if you close to re-enlistment and you on a control roster within that time frame, you can forget about re-enlisting to the military. You're getting booted out. All right, let's see, for documentation. The actions are documented in a member's unfavorable information file, which serves as a record of negative information, which you do not want in Uncle Sam's military. Commanders do have a discretion, okay? Commanders have the authority to place a member on a control roster as a rehabilitative tool, and a commander can remove you from a control roster, before the 6 month period, But bottom line, guys, is if you're gonna go into the military, keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean, and do what they say. You know what I'm saying? If you're going in with this independent mindset and you thinking you can do things your way, my advice to you, my friend, is stay out the military. Don't go in. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have a bumpy ride, you know what I'm saying, if you try to do that. And if you try to wrestle with Uncle Sam going to win. Trust me, you know what I'm saying? I've seen dudes, man. I've seen, guys, E7s get busted down, you know what I'm saying? To a slick sleeve, meaning like, no stripes, an E1 to get busted down, you know what I'm saying? And you got to walk around, you know what I'm saying, with those stripes, you know what I'm saying, and that rank insignia gone, where it used to be, you know what I'm saying, and you're taking forfeiture of pay, you know what I'm saying, other benefits, you know what I'm saying, and, you know what I'm saying, you being paraded around loss of prestige, loss of authority, loss of respect, you know what I'm saying, and being booted out from your peers, you know what I'm saying. And if they want to humiliate you, you know what I'm saying, trust me, the military, you know what I'm saying, they know exactly what tools to come up with and what to use, you know what I'm saying, to humiliate you, you know what I'm saying. This is not a game that you can win. So you go in the military, you know how they say play the game. On the civilian side, you got to play the game, you know what I'm saying. Well, you got to learn how you got to play by their rules, you know what I'm saying. And how they say the house always wins. So in this particular case, when you sign up, you know what I'm saying, in Uncle Sam's military, they are the house. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, are just another patron, you know what I'm saying, at the blackjack table. The house never loses. You know what I'm saying? So, and anyway, why do you want to go into Uncle Sam's military and try to do things your way? It ain't your military. You know what I'm saying? It's the government's. And no matter where you go, you're going to have to obey and follow somebody's rules. So if you cannot take orders, the military is not for you. Do yourself a favor. You know what I'm saying? Do not bother if you are not willing to take and follow orders. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you're going to have a miserable ride. And after they finish dusting you up, you know what I'm saying, you get out with that dishonorable discharge, and then you lose your veterans privileges, your veterans benefits. You know what I'm saying? And then sooner or later down the road, you may need those veterans privileges, you know what I'm saying, that you get. You know, there's benefits that you get for serving in the military honorably. You know, you got your GI Bill, which you can use to go to school, or also as a GI, you know, a home loan, you know what I'm saying, to get you some real estate. You know what I'm saying? Then you get veterans preference points, you know what I'm saying, for federal, state, city, county, you know what I'm saying, jobs. Then certain jobs, they hold slots specifically for veterans, you know what I'm saying? You may want to use VA medical benefits, you know what I'm saying? You may want to use vocational rehabilitation. And then on top of that, with an honorable discharge, if you happen to incur any type of medical condition in the military, they have to compensate you for that. So if you don't get out with an honorable discharge, you know what I'm saying, then you forfeit, you know, so you can forfeit a VA disability compensation. You know, all these things, man, you know what I'm saying, they add up. And a lot of times people don't think about this especially when they're younger. You know what I'm saying? They be thinking foolishly, and they don't think about their future. You know what I'm saying? But Uncle Sam is not the government is not what you want to mess with. You don't want to mess with, you know what I'm saying, the government, because they will get you, you know what I'm saying? And they have power and control, and they are connected to the civilian side, and they could mess your life up and make it very difficult for you on the outside, you know. So please, you know what I'm saying, listen to some words of wisdom. For those that you are in, y'all know the deal, you know what I'm saying? You know, obey, you know what I'm saying, the rules, and do what you got to do, and do your time, you know what I'm saying, and then get out, you know what I'm saying, however long you're going to do it. If you're going to make a career, you know what I'm saying, of it, you know what I'm saying, make it good. The military can be, you know what I'm saying, a good career. You know, it's like anything else, what you make of it. You know what I'm saying? But don't make your time in the military more difficult than what it has to be. And I'm talking to those that are in, and those of you that are considering a career. There's a lot of benefits to it, man. You know, so why not take advantage of it? Why go in to be a knucklehead? Nobody wants, you know, to deal with anybody that's a knucklehead or that's going to be hard-headed, or if you a discipline problem. You know, if you a discipline problem, don't go in the military, because I'm telling you, they will get rid of you, and they'll put you back out like a hole on the street. I'm telling you, just like that. They'll put you out like a hole on the street. Uncle Sam don't care. You know what I'm saying? He put the pimp hand down. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to learn today. You know, but anyway, I'm going to stop, you know what I'm saying, right there. But guys, the military control roster, you never want to go on it. So just play by the rules, you know what I'm saying? And you never have to worry about that. If I didn't break my phase 1, I would never have got my prestigious assignment canceled, and I never would, you know what I'm saying, have wound up on that control roster. I broke the rules, and I paid for it, you know what I'm saying? But thank God, you know what I'm saying, that my new commander, you know what I'm saying, was very lenient and favored me, so he pulled me off of it, you know what I'm saying, and deleted the file. Anyway, that's all I have on this one, guys, you know, but something to think about, in a word, you know what I'm saying, of caution. But for some future military videos, I know I got the biological chemical warfare stuff coming back out again, but I will go into the Article 15 and the different types of judicial and non-judicial punishment, you know what I'm saying, in the armed forces. But more to come, guys. But thank you for listening. Thank you to all my subscribers on YouTube, and thank you for all my subscribers and followers on Rumble. I appreciate each one of you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? And please, guys, on the YouTube channel, when you see the videos, please hit the hype button. Hype this video, and when any of my videos that you see, immediately they're going to ask you to hype this video. Hit that hype button. Hit the like button if you like the video. If you don't like the video, hit the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. Love the dialogue with you. Smash that bell to become a subscriber on Every Brother's YouTube. Turn on all notifications. And on my Rumble channel, Snacks123 on Rumble, hit that, follow me over there. Subscribe to that, you know. And hit the unlike button. If you don't like the videos, hit the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. Love the dialogue with you. Everyone has a right to be heard. The name of this channel is Eric Broadus YouTube, EricBroadus. YouTube or ericbroadusyoutube.com, and Snacks, SNAKZ123 on Rumble. Also have a podcast, Snacks Thoughts, SNAKZ THOUGHTS, Snacks Thoughts. And you can find the podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart Radio, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a host of other social media outlets. And lastly, where I'm selling my weight loss products. The 5 best weight loss products. Link will be in the descriptions. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Purchase the products, you know what I'm saying, and share it with others so that they can purchase the products and take care of their health. That's all I have on this one, guys. And again, stay out of trouble. If you're in the military and if you plan on going in, stay out of trouble. That's all I have on this one. Peace out. Catch you on the next one later.